Wooden base. Pine base. Wooden base. Pine base.
And it gets your face like warmed up.
Super serious.
Where nothing fun or funny ever happens.
This is a super serious thing.
I don't even like dogs.
Super serious.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Super Serious Dog Podcast. I'm Misha Bielitsky, and I am joined with Courtney Cuellar, my co-host. So we have some really exciting news for you guys, and that is that we officially have a sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Puppyscapes. They make some really, really cool custom agility equipment. Courtney just bought some of it, and we're really excited.
It's like agility equipment. It's got, he makes like platforms and benches, and there's like a suspension bridge thing and a ladder walk, and just to get the dogs up and on stuff and climbing and using their body. And I really love the concept, so I'm excited to get mine.
Yeah, I guess a better way of describing it, especially on the like upper end of it, is like playground, like a big old playground for your dogs, right? And then they have like smaller components that you can also get individually instead of buying like the whole thing that has the tower and the slide and the bridge and the stairs and the like tic-tac-toe. Not that this has tic-tac-toe on it, but you know, you get my point, right?
And the guy that runs it, super nice guy. So we actually, worked out with him, the sponsorship, and we can get you guys a discount if you want to purchase some Puppyscapes of your own. Pretty reasonable pricing he has already, but we can definitely get you a discount. Misha, how do they get the discount? Tell them.
So, to get the discount, you basically want to go through the contact form. So don't just go and buy the thing. Go through the contact form, tell them that you heard about him through Super Serious Dog Podcast, and you can get 5% off a single item, or you can get 7% off if you're buying multiple items, which is a pretty awesome discount, especially if you're getting like a bigger unit or something like that.
Or just a couple benches, whatever fits your style and what you need or what your dogs could benefit from or what you could benefit from.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So if you want to check it out, go to puppyscapes.com. They're made in Texas, so it's a local made in the USA thing. I know that's important for some people, and especially right now, trying to support local businesses as much as possible. So that's one way that you can do that. So yeah, that's our sponsorship. So exciting.
Woohoo!
I'm really excited. This makes me feel much more official than having the interviewers and stuff too.
I also really want to welcome all our new listeners. Like, holy shit, right?
That's right.
Things are getting big.
So many more downloads.
We really appreciate you guys listening. We started this podcast as a joke, and it has really just snowballed. We appreciate it. Also, if you've listened to our other episodes, I need to admit something.
Oh, no.
I was wrong.
How? What? I don't think anybody's ever been wrong in the history of ever.
Well,
what were you wrong about?
It happened. I have told people repeatedly that on Patreon, if they sign up for $1, they will get hour-long episodes. You won't. Is
that the $3 tier?
Yeah. It's $5.
Oh, $5. I see. I don't even know what our tiers are. I should probably get my shit together.
It's $1, $5, and $12. So if you give us $5 a month, you get an extra hour of basically every episode we've done. We also did an hour-long one after it or the next day or whatever. So there's a lot of them on there. And we also put up random videos and stuff, but those are mostly for the $12 people. But if you sign up for $1, you do get these episodes like 5 days early. That's what you get for $1.
Gotcha.
So I was wrong when I told you that you could get an hour-long episode for $1 a month.
Well, thanks for clarifying. And now I know too, which, I'm looking real professional right now, not knowing what our Patreon tiers do.
I mean, like I said, we started this as a joke. I took it super seriously. I wasn't really paying attention to what I was, saying. So, my bad. My bad. Anyway. So moving on.
Topic time.
Tricky
today
topics.
We're going to talk about how tricky is your dog. So what I did was I made a a poll, and I shared it with a bunch of people who have dogs. This is both dog trainers and just normal, clients / just normal dog people, quote unquote. So not necessarily anybody performing at a high level necessarily. And I was pretty impressed with the results. I have a ton of stuff on here, and then I left an open-ended kind of like an other section so people could fill stuff in. Some of it is a little bit, the data is a little bit skewed because like sometimes some like people would overlook and not see a trick further up that was already listed, and then they'd repeat it in the other section. So some of those didn't get counted or whatever, but there were some really cool, interesting, fill in the blank type sort of answers. So
I didn't get a chance to take this poll, so I'm very excited to hear what was on it.
I know you should like keep a tally in your head of how many of these you do.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll try.
So some of the stuff also, just so you guys know, I had recall on there originally, and then I took it off, and then people kind of were like, well, how come recall coming when called isn't on there? And so I put it back on there, but I'm just not going to count that data because I added it after the fact and not necessarily everybody went and fixed it. And on top of that, I tried to keep out as much like utility stuff as possible, meaning like off or stop it, like a no type command. That's not a trick. That's a utility thing. And you could argue that technically anything we teach a dog is a trick. I wanted this to mostly be like sit down, roll over, play dead, that kind of stuff. Because even though sit is useful, it's still technically just a trick. There's really no big reason, and not every dog learns it, especially if they have if they're old and they have weak hips or something like that. Like not every dog learns that. So however, it is one of the most popular and most common ones. So 74 out of 75 people, that's 98%, said their dog knows sit. So basically out of 75 people, we'll just go through the list. 68 said their dog knew lay or lay down type sort of thing.
Only 68?
Only 68. Yep.
Wow. I feel like that would have been, up there with sit.
People struggle with down, and not everybody does it. And if you think about it, most people without a trainer, or by the time you get to a puppy lesson, most people have already started working on sit and shake, but they usually struggle with a lot with down.
That's very true. But personally, I would rather my dog know down than sit.
Yeah.
It's a more stationary command.
It's more relaxed too.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm going to keep interrupting you.
No, that's totally fine. That's kind of the whole point. I want to be able to talk about these because I think it's interesting. So shake, 21 people, and this isn't shake give me your paw. This is your whole body shakes. 21 people.
When they're wet, shaking off.
Yes, exactly. Shaking off. High five, low
cool.
five.
I'd never thought to teach my dog that. I mean, I've taught him to shake off after the bath, because they're not allowed to shake while I'm washing, during certain parts, because I don't feel like getting sprayed in the face. And then I'll be like, okay, shake. But I don't think it's a trick that is in any way solid.
Yeah. My same for me. Mine's more about I don't want them to shake off a bunch of times once they're out of the shower or the bathroom. And even in the bathroom, I'd still rather them be in the tub area, right? So for me, it's basically it's purely contextual. I just sit there. I say shake, but I just sit there and wait. Until they just do it, because eventually they're going to do it, because it's just a natural kind of thing to do. Mm-hmm. So 61 people said that their dog could do high five, low five, shake, paw, that kind of thing. So touching your paw to your hand, basically.
How many is that?
61.
I thought that would be higher too, because it's like you said,
61's pretty high.
Usually that's the first thing people teach their dog after sit.
But a lot of people also hear things like, oh, never teach your dog shake, because then they're always going to scratch at you and paw at you and they want something, which is true
I've
if
told
you don't finish
I've told
that.
A lot of people that, because I'm like, you're not going to finish this, so don't start this yet, please.
Yeah, it's that, but that's more of a couldn't finish what you started type of thing. So for any of our listeners who have that problem of, oh no, I taught my dog paw or shake or high five or whatever, and now I can't get them to stop bugging me constantly, there's a pretty simple solution for that, and that is 100% ignore the dog every time and go back to working on it, unless you're completely working on it, right? Unless you're in a session, ignore that behavior at all times.
Yeah.
It's pretty eloquent. It's a pretty simple solution. It's not going to make it go away entirely, but it'll definitely reduce the frequency, because if you interact and you like happen to grab their paw because you're on the phone with your mom or something like that, and you just blindly or I guess unconsciously grab it.
Well, I know a lot of people who unconsciously like their dog paws at them at shake,
Yes.
and they're like, okay, you want to shake hands? Okay, good job. And it's like, no, your dog is being annoying.
Your dog's pulling a lever because it's expecting something, because it's historically has a strong reinforcement history of either affection, attention, or treats.
That's a way nicer
whatever.
way of saying what I said.
It's more technical. Let's put it that way.
That's what I meant. That's what I
Right.
meant.
Right.
Anyway, what's after shake?
Place. So that's basically, I define that as put all 4 paws on an object and hold the position. So usually it's go to your bed, basically. So 40 people taught their dog place.
That's it? What the hell, people?
That's still pretty high. I mean, again, not everybody needs place. You know what I mean? And not
That's
everybody,
true.
even if they could benefit from it, they still don't, often struggle to see the value
Right.
of it. Whereas B-Town loves place because I made him place on all kinds of crazy things. Hey, I had my yoga mat rolled up, and it's a pretty thick one. I had my yoga mat rolled up and like just kind of pushed to the side because I use it almost daily. And his like usual spot was taken on the dog beds by one of the cats. And so he just like went to the yoga mat and laid down on it and was just chilling. It's really cute. I have
That's
a
cute.
really cute photo of that.
Aw.
Okay. Heel is after that, 45 people. Again, that's kind of more, that one was one I struggled with a little bit because it's sort of a utility thing, like, but it can be a really cool trick. Spot, which is basically just front 2 paws on something. 22 people said that they taught their dogs that, which I thought that was pretty cool. That was a lot higher than I expected it to be.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't
but-
think of that one. Unless
Right.
they think, like, unless I teach them about, like, rear end awareness or something like that.
Right, exactly. And even then, even if we teach that in a lesson, it tends to be more of a like functional training tool.
Right.
Like we don't teach them to do that all the time, and sometimes not even put a name to it. We just have their butt spin around it or
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
Right.
So the next 2 both had 12 people that said they did it. And one thing that I kind of struggled with that I thought would be really interesting would be to see like if some of the same people said like, if their dog could do one trick, the likelihood of them doing the next one was a little bit higher or something like that. But it was too
Same
difficult to
12
parse the data. So 12 people could do butt up and bounce. So butt up is basically the dog's front legs are on the ground and then their hind legs are on like a flat wall, basically. So butt up in the air, basically.
Yeah.
That one's pretty tricky. That's like a fancier version of bow, which I have further down the list. And then bounce is basically like exactly what it sounds like. It's your dog launching themselves off of a stationary object like a wall or a tree or something like that.
I remember when I taught Reddy and Ruka, I taught them separately, but I remember like the moment when they grasped both of those tricks because it felt so cool.
Yeah.
Like so cool. I was like, my dog can put its butt up on something or my dog can bounce off of something.
Yep.
Yeah. Super proud dog mom
B-Town,
moments.
B-Town learned the bounce. I call it boing, but he learned bounce basically like in a couple of days.
Ruka learned it so fast. It took Reddy
Really?
forever, but Ruka was like, "Oh, you want me to bounce off a wall?"
That's so
Done.
funny. I should do a video of B-Town. We should do videos of our dogs and post them on our Patreon of our dogs doing bounce and stuff. I think that'd be really fun.
We should. I think they still know how to do it.
'Cause I
I know
did-
Ruka does. I haven't asked Reddy to do it in a while.
Yeah. I did the like random like draw tricks out of a hat and make my dog do it on the Patreon. And
Oh yeah, I watched that. It was so cute.
I forgot bounce or boing. And that's like literally mine and B-Town's favorite thing to do. It's absolute favorite. And I totally forgot about it. I hate it when that happens. So it'd be a good reason to post it. Jump. So I define that as jump over or through an obstacle such as a hula hoop or a short wall. 31 people who said their dog could do that.
Nice.
Middle, which is where the dog stands between their legs and they're typically facing the same direction that the human is facing. And that could be either stationary or in motion. So kind of like a heel where you're walking, but you have to walk wide-legged because your dog's between your legs. 27 people said they could do that.
I wonder how many of those people have it for functional reasons and how many of those have it for just for funsies reasons. Because I know, like with B-Town, you have it for, I mean, both, but like it has a very functional reason for you guys.
Yep. So, I wonder that too. And I wonder how much of that is like how many of these dogs are potentially, not just trainer dogs, but like maybe somebody with a really high proficiency in terms of like training knowledge and that kind of stuff. So maybe they're an enthusiast, or maybe they have a service dog or something like that. Because that can be super functional. For B-Town specifically, it's, as you know, is all about basically protecting him when we're walking through a crowd. He's little, he gets stepped on a lot, and he also is incredibly emotional when he gets hurt. And so,
and he bites really fucking hard.
Let's
not forget that fun fact.
So to protect him a little bit, there have been a couple of times where I've used it in a really thick crowd of like drunk people, like when we've done street festivals where we advertise our business and stuff like that. As the day wears on, decision-making skills go down by the general population. So it really helps. And what's really funny is I remember posting this on like Chad Mackin posted something about middle being, not necessarily middle, but about like teaching a dog to have fun around its triggers, right? And that being really valuable. And I mentioned like how basically I was really nervous about walking B-Town back to my car after one of these festivals. So I put him in middle, and he like previously was a little bit nervous. Like you could see, like he was tired from the day. It was hot. There's a bunch of people milling around. I had to slap so many people's hands out of the way of like, don't touch that one, touch those over there, and point to my coworkers' dogs and stuff. And I put him in middle, and like a veil was lifted off of him. It was like he was having fun in a minefield is exactly how I described it. Like he wasn't nervous. He didn't have a care in the world. He was just super pumped to do this really cool trick, because I never put him in that situation and without him succeeding, if that makes sense, right? Like I didn't overdo it. I didn't force him to do middle around his triggers over and over and over again. I sort of left it sort of pure and just a trick. And then I pulled it out of my back pocket one day when I needed it. And it was pretty eye-opening in terms of like that whole, like, you know, layered stress model that we talked about and that we're about to talk about for our Patreon episode.
Oh yeah, layered stress. I know there's a trainer I follow, and she actually calls middle safe.
Nice.
So that it's somewhere her dog can go to get away from its triggers, because she lives in like the UK and there's off-leash dogs all the time, and she does pack walks and all this stuff. But cool. I think her dog can be a little, you know, like it's a shepherd spaniel, so it's drivey, like probably a little bitchy sometimes. Right. You know, like dogs can be. I'm very familiar. But having
dogs have personalities and emotions.
But having it, you know, have a safe command where it goes between your legs, and then you can handle whatever is the problem, because there's obviously a problem at that point. Right. So I'd like that trick. Also, it's cute.
It is super cute.
And I'm pretty sure, like GRC, there's like 3 different ways the dog has to get into middle, and like there's all these like specifics on that simple thing of your dog standing between your legs. But it can be spun so many different ways.
Yeah. If you guys want to know about J-Jack's ideology behind middle, definitely check it out. He's got a podcast for GRC, which is his dog sport that he invented recently, which is really cool. And
it's all about a dog sport. So cool.
Yeah. Specifically because he didn't want people who had, like, he's worked with pitties a lot. And he didn't want people with pit bulls with, like, you know, severe reactivity issues and just problems. He wanted to give them a fun outlet and set a high standard for you to be able to compete, but also at the same time, give them some biological fulfillment. And so because a lot of dog sports that might be suited for that specific dog or whatever, they're not the most inclusive. Like if you have any reactivity, you not only get your nose, like, you know, people not only turn their noses up at you, but also, they can be straight up dicks and kick you out and stuff because
you're going to cause a ruckus and it's going to be a problem, and they're going to be like, this isn't fun. You got to go. So I like how that sport is like, your dog might be a dick, but you can still fucking play games with it and teach it stuff and increase your relationship with it, and then enjoy having the fucking dog and not just be frustrated that it's a dick.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, if you guys want to check it out, Jack, Jay, Jack is in like jumping jacks, and GRC is his dog sport. He's got Facebook page and a discussion group and website, podcast, all that kind of stuff. So definitely check it out for sure.
Tons of stuff. Super cool guy.
Tons of stuff. Okay, let's get through this. So 19 people said they could do weave. So that was, I specified either between poles or while you walk through your legs. So it's kind of cheating because it's sort of two different tricks, but not if you look at a completionist view of it. Beg or sit pretty. 25 people could do this out of 75. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. Especially because that's a pretty challenging one because
you got to build those muscles. Most dogs can't just do it the first time, unless for some reason they have a lot of core muscles already. But you have to build it.
Stand, all four paws on the floor. Stand from a sit or down position. 28 people said they could do that.
Wow, that's actually impressive.
I know
that can be pretty difficult to teach.
B-Town stand is pretty shitty. Like the last time I worked on it was a long time ago, and he still needs to be like on a place or have some sort of physical barrier preventing him from moving forward. I haven't gotten to a point where he can do it on the ground yet.
I'm actually really proud of Phoebe's stand right now. She did not know stand a year ago, and now I can officially say she knows it, and she doesn't need a barrier. And the worst thing she does when she stands is she may take like a half a step or two of happy feet backwards. And honestly, I will take a half a step backwards rather than 6 feet of a jump forwards, which is what we had for a while. So, because she was awesome. Like, "Oh, stand, okay," and jump at you at the same time. And because Phoebe, she does everything with way too much enthusiasm. So yeah, occasionally we get some happy feet, and I'm like, "Stop!" But I'm so proud of her stand right now. But I'm also really proud of those 28 people that taught their dog to stand because
that's a pretty challenging skill because it's so stationary. Okay, so stand on hind legs was after that, and that is 18 people. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this next one, I could not believe this. I expected this to be 0. So I put flip, like literally do a flip. 3 people. I want to find those people. I didn't require anybody put like any information or like email address or anything like that. And I kind of wish I would have so I could go hunt them down and be like, let me see. I want to see.
I want video. I want to see. Reddy can do a flip. Or Reddy could do a flip. We don't do flips anymore, but
his poor hips and knees and stuff.
He's a senior border collie and he will hurt himself. But like he does them on accident sometimes. So does Phoebe.
Right. Yeah. B-Town's gotten much more majestic of like that kind of stuff, like doing flips, trying to catch balls and doing spins and twists and landing much more gracefully because he's landed wrong so many times and had to like be on crate rest. Anyways. So I have like a billion more to get through. So I'm going to try to go through these a little bit faster. Front. So that is where the dog is facing the handler. So you guys are basically facing each other and that's in a sit, stand, or down. I don't want to specify too much. 26 people. So that's a pretty good one. Especially if they could flip from like a heel into a front. That'd be really flashy, really fun. B-Town's front is okay. He sits crooked, but that's because he's little and I didn't care about fixing it. It's a lot easier to be sloppy with little dogs with tricks. It's like, you're so tiny, close enough. Play dead, 19 people could do, 19 people's dogs could do that. Roll over, 42 people. That's pretty good. B-Town has a really clean, like he'll go from a down into a down, went from like roll to roll, beginning and start. I was really meticulous about being like, no, when you get out of your roll, you're not sloppy. You don't pop up. You sphinx and you're down.
Phoebe can't roll over.
Really?
Did I ever tell you about trying to teach Phoebe roll over?
Yes. Do you remember when? Do
didn't
you
go
remember
well.
when Kelly tried to like bribe us?
Yes,
to teach
I
Dax?
was a part of that. I tried so goddamn hard to get that dog
yes.
to roll over, and
Yeah.
I was not the one that did it.
Yeah.
He did.
Wasn't
He did do it eventually.
Right. I don't remember. I think she ended up breaking through. But after several of us had like attempted, didn't she like try to teach him for like 2 years and then was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to give up on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
gave up
So,
on Phoebe's. 'Cause
Yeah. It's one of those things you'll probably eventually come back to it. You might not.
I will.
But
I
you
probably will, but not right now because we started
Right.
working on a lot of other stuff, and
Right.
so
There's more
back
important
to it.
things, right, than the thing that frustrates you.
Yes.
Just procrastinate that project. 29 people said their dog could speak, and I specified as bark. And then I did whisper, which is bark softly. 11 people could do that. Coordinate. So I can't do that. I've been trying to teach B-Time Gremlin for years. Did I mention Play Dead? I think I skipped that one. Play Dead was...
No, you said it.
Okay, cool. Out, drop it, or disengage with an object in their mouth. 53 people.
Nice.
That's pretty impressive.
Nice.
That's a difficult skill for a lot of people to teach. I don't know how often you see people struggle with it, but I feel like that's always a big struggle for people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, because dogs want to possess the thing,
Yeah, they're like, no, it's mine. Especially when it's like a sock or something that like...
right? But it's
they
an
really
important
want-
skill to teach. You should definitely teach your dog to drop or out or leave it or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
Disengage with whatever you want to call it.
Yep. Look or eyes, give me eye contact. 34 dogs could do that. Hold/fetch, aka hold a object in their mouth. 32. So they could do that. Spin. And I kind of lumped that both directions. It doesn't really matter if it's left or right or whatever. 32 people. Kiss, aka lick. 32 people as well. 34 people said their dog knew touch, which is touch an object with their snout. Usually it's somebody's hand or like a little bumper thing. But hug, which is jump up and wrap your paws around me. 19 people. I've spent a lot of lessons teaching people how to do that one, because there's like one person in the house that wants it,
Right.
or everybody wants it in the house, but only at special times.
Right.
So that's a good one. Bow. 14 dogs could do that one. Wave/say hello. So it's basically just all three out of your 4 paws are on the ground and one of the front ones is lifted up. 13 people. I was a little sad by this one. Only one person taught their dog who farted, aka like act ashamed.
Aww. That's
to be
pretty
fair-
hard. It's pretty hard to teach.
Hard. Yeah.
You tried?
No, I have never attempted that one. So
The
I've
best
seen
way
people,
I've heard of is to put like a piece of tape or something on their nose
So they
and then
paw
mark
it.
when they paw at it.
Yeah. or
every-
tickle with a feather. I've heard that too.
Yeah, you should have seen Reddy's reaction when I tried to do that. He did
my
not
God.
just paw at his face.
What did he do?
He just turned into like a bucking bronco, kind of, and like then smashed his face into the ground violently. And I was like, "Whoa, dude!
Don't do that. Don't
Okay.
do that, buddy. That's
Nope. Yeah, we never
That is-
circled back around to that.
that is not very good self-preservation. Ready? It's just tape, dude.
Neither of my border collies know what that word means.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
You've
especially ready.
You've met them, right? Like,
Especially ready. Yes. Who's your best friend? One person taught their dog that, and that's where like you say who's your best friend, and the dog puts their paw on like the dog next to them.
oh, that's kind of like hold it.
It's kind of like hold it, but it's more specific, like up, right? I didn't even put anything like hold it because that's so unique and bizarre. And like, I've never seen that before. It was just like a behavior B-Town was just already offering.
Yeah,
and so
we were
I
like, we
captured
should
it.
name that. We should just mark and capture that because that's
Mm-hmm.
cute.
3 people taught their dog cheese, aka smile or show me your teeth. 47 taught leave it. 25 taught take it. Back or reverse. 32 people taught that. Find it. So specifically a hidden object is 28 people.
That number should be higher. Your dog would love that game.
So that
It takes
one,
almost nothing to teach it.
that one was honestly one of those where a lot of people mention like search and rescue or find a person or hide and go seek. And I'm like, dude, that's find it is right there. So
Yeah.
that one, probably should be technically higher, but to go back and fix the data would have been a nightmare. So I didn't do that.
Yeah, no, okay. I understand. I'm sorry.
So, but it wouldn't be much higher. Honestly, I'd say there's probably maybe like up to 5 people margin of error. 3 to 5, I would guess. Crawls.
Incredible statistics. Thank you.
I know, right? I'm using very statistical words. That business school paid off, huh? Oops. An alarm going off. My bad, y'all. Crawl, 15 people taught their dog how to do that. Catch, 39 people, and that's specifically catching a treat or a toy or something. 2 people taught their dog how to walk on a tightrope. That's fucking
What?
crazy. Yeah.
Really?
Somebody was like, put that on there. I think Emma might be one of them. She might have been the one who mentioned it. I'm not sure. She's another dog trainer who's going to be interviewed soon, y'all. So stay tuned. I can grill her then.
Yeah, let's find out about this tightrope situation.
Mark, aka Look at a Target, which was your suggestion. 5 people said their dog could do that.
Nice.
17 people said their dogs could do directionals or casting. So that's like sending their dog left, right, back, forward at a distance of at least 10 feet and being able to have them like basically like play Battleship.
Kind of, yeah.
Handstand. 2 people said their dogs could do a handstand.
Oh, is that off the wall?
Off the wall. So no support, just straight up handstand.
Ruka used to get so excited to do butt up that if she was far, like she'd be like 4 or 5 feet from the wall and she would just throw her butt up and start running backwards to hit the wall.
So bizarre.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. I meant to capture it and call it twerk or something.
I remember that.
But then other stuff happened in my life and I didn't work on that anymore. So
such is life, right?
Yeah.
Balance or stand on a wobbly or small object. 19 people. 5 people said their dog could skateboard.
Wow.
Awesome. 5 people said their dog could dance, which is basically stand with movement or spinning probably. 11 people said their dog could balance a small toy or a treat on their snout. 16 people said their dog could open a door or cabinet. One of the submissions, like the custom submissions, was beer me, so I assume that goes into that statistic technically because they just said beer me. So is that like getting a beer out of the cooler? Is that putting a beer on the table and the dog is that just a forced fetch? Is that or
I
is
gotta tell you,
picture?
when I first became a dog trainer, I cannot explain to you how many people asked me, "Oh, does that mean you can teach my dog how to get a beer out of the fridge for me now?" And I was like, I mean, yeah, I understand how to teach a dog that, and I could potentially teach your dog that, but do you want your dog to go into your fridge? Period. End of question mark. I guess not period. And then they were always like, oh, well, no, I guess not. And I'm like, okay, then I bet there's other things that we should probably teach your dog first. Like maybe stop bolting out the front door and maybe stop pulling on the leash and, other more useful things.
Right.
And they're like, I hadn't thought about that.
You know what's funny to think about is like, that's definitely an indication of like the times that we live in currently, because if this were, let's say 30 years ago, 20 years ago, probably even, people would probably be requesting more about getting your slippers, fetching your slippers. Or if you go back even further, it'd be more about fetching the newspaper, but now we consume media digitally. So there's no need to do that because you just have Siri or Alexa do that for you. Or just your phone brings it to you without you even looking for it. So
the future is now.
The future is now.
All right, what's on the list? I know we're probably almost out of time.
Yes, we're pretty much almost done, so that's cool. Spider, which is jump up into your arms. 9 people said they could do that.
I love that.
I know. And then 1 person said they could do backpack, and I think I know who that is. I think that's our old bosses.
I never finished teaching that trick because it hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Every time I practiced, it hurt a lot.
Yeah.
The closest I got was a back stall where like I was kind of like a tabletop with my back,
Right.
And
Right.
then they would jump up there and just stand there.
Right.
but I was never willing to go past like I don't know what degree that would be to upright and
because they have
them,
to claw you in your
they have
shoulders.
to hold on. They have to hold on somehow, and that's like your skin and stuff. And so it's hot in Texas, and I don't want to wear a jacket to practice. And so every winter, I'm like, okay, this winter I'm gonna learn, and then I don't.
Nope. So some honorable mentions. One person mentioned like doing agility stuff, so tunnels and A-frames and doing all that kind of stuff, which was cool. I didn't even think to add that. I know who put this one. This was shout out to Noah. Noah has taught his dog Ellie how to talk with buttons. So those little like you get basically pre-record. You can record or you can get them pre-recorded. For his, he got the ones where you could customize it and you could be like outside, treat, whatever. You just record whenever you want it. And they push the button and they get that thing when they want it. Is that pretty cool?
That's a really interesting concept. Yeah. I would love to talk to your friend Noah.
Yeah.
Can we have him on the show? Noah, come on the show.
He would probably be like blushing the whole time. Anyways.
That's okay.
Apparently Allison can do it too. We have another dog trainer friend in Florida. She's
Allison,
awesome.
come on the show.
Yeah, she should come on the show. She would probably love it. One person mentioned Snoot. So they hold their hands in a little circle and their dog either
push the little face through it like this. Push their face in.
Yeah, which is probably a really handy trick for like a dog who's maybe nervous of muzzle conditioning stuff.
Yes. I've actually seen that many times as a good foundation to muzzle conditioning, especially if the dog is super like hand shy and stuff. Like it helps counter condition to hands and to get you prepared for the muzzle.
And the claustrophobia aspect of that. Yes. Hell yeah, dude. Rooster, that was a really cute one. So they said like basically, when your dog like kicks the grass and scent marks after it poops. So they have that on command, which I thought was really cute. Trash, where you pick up a piece of trash and go drop it in a bucket or a trash can. One person said they taught their dog close the door.
Nice. Useful.
Very useful, for sure, especially when you want to be lazy. Remember our friend and former coworker, Carrie, she was like, I'm lazy, so I have my dog pick up all the food bowls once all the dogs are done eating.
I used to do that. That was Reddy's job, was to pick up all the food bowls.
Oh, that's right. You did it too. I remember Carrie talking about it a lot when I would like sit in her lessons and consults and stuff. So,
I have one.
Yeah. What's yours?
Like Reddy can get his tail.
Nice.
Like he catches his own tail and holds it.
I didn't even think about putting that on here. I have to add that later after the fact. Shell game. Somebody said that their dog can do the shell game pretty consistently, where you take 3 cups and you hide a treat under one, and you like
that's
slide
on one
a
of
hand.
the AKC trick title ones.
Yeah. And then one person said that they taught their dog Brody to sit at crosswalks. Whenever the dog would hear the word cross, they would run to the other side of the street, which I thought was pretty cool. Very neat. Especially if the dog like tends to run out into the street a lot.
Yeah. Teach it to run quickly through the street.
But yeah.
On command.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Wasn't
nice.
That fun?
That was fun. That was fun. That's super cool. Well, I think you nailed a lot of tricks there. I wonder if any of our listeners know of other or have other tricks they've taught their dogs. So I'm pretty curious if you guys do. I definitely want to hear about them.
Yeah, send us a message. You can message us through Patreon if you're a Patreon member. You can message us through email by going to superseriouspodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget about our awesome sponsorship. Write us a review if you like us. Tell your friends. Thanks for listeing.
And Patreon's $5 a month, not one.
$5.
My bad.
It's okay. We can all be wrong sometimes. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate it. Check out our,
stuff. Our stuff. Check out our stuff. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. Okay, bye. What do I do with my hands?
I don't know. I can't tell.
Now we are.
I was making a weird face if Jay leaves this in and people are wondering why I sound distressed. I was making funny faces.